The Philadelphia Eagles are back in the playoffs for the seventh time in 8 years and the fourth time in as many years under head coach Nick Sirianni. With 14 wins, the second most in the NFL, Philadelphia opens the wild card round hosting the Green Bay Packers. Philadelphia will have starting quarterback Jalen Hurts back under center after he missed the last two games of the season due to a concussion. Backup quarterbacks Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee have each started in Hurts' absence and won both games. The Eagles also recently had tight end Dallas Goedert return from a knee injury. Wide receiver A.J. Brown is expected to play after missing practice with a knee injury of his own. On the Packers side, they'll have quarterback Jordan Love back from a hand injury. However, they lost wide receiver Christian Watson to a season-ending knee injury. The game is a rematch from Week 1 in Brazil, when Eagles running back Saquon Barkley scored 3 touchdowns in his Eagles debut, a 34-29 Philadelphia win. Barkley went on to become the Eagles' first 2,000-yard rusher. When the Philadelphia Eagles opened the 2024 season, they knew they had a lot of work to do to get people to forget the previous year's collapse. For the most part this season, the team has done an exemplary job of making people forget. All that won't matter if the team can't go on another playoff run, though. As the Eagles prepare for their wild card showdown against the Green Bay Packers, the pressure is back on the club to show their 32-9 loss in last year's playoffs was nothing more than an aberration. "We have a lot more to prove," left tackle Jordan Mailata. "I think the chip on the shoulder getting eliminated like that was pretty embarrassing for those that were part of it. That's carried over to this year, and we want to make sure 2023 never repats itself again." But I think the young guys have shown that same hunger too. They want to get better every week, and that's come down to the coaching and the culture that we built this year. I think that's what the difference is, the hunger and the chip on our shoulder. Philadelphia won 14 games for the second time in 3 seasons while also fielding the top defense in the league. Couple that with the best rushing attack in football, and the Eagles have plenty of reasons to be proud of their performance this year. That doesn't mean the team is absolved from their failings in 2023, though. The more playoff wins the Eagles team achieves this year, though, the more their collapse becomes nothing more than a fluke. It all starts on Sunday, though. The Philadelphia Eagles have followed Jason Kelce's leadership and are using MyFitnessPal to help the team perform at an elite level on the field. When Kelce's not wearing Winnipeg Blue Bombers gear to support his former University of Cincinnati teammate Zach Collaros, he's tracking calories and protein intake with MyFitnessPal. He's used the nutrition tracking app to slim down from his NFL playing weight. "I personally don't subscribe to doing extreme diets," Kelce said on his New Heights podcast during episode 80. "I downloaded MyFitnessPal and started tracking calories. I feel like as long as I maintain my protein intake, so I keep my muscle and limit the calories, you'll start to lose weight. That's the plan." Turns out the Eagles had been using MyFitnessPal for several seasons, with the team making the partnership official in September. Canadian defensive back Sidney Brown used the app to rehab from an ACL tear suffered in his rookie season. The London-on native returned to the field in less than 1 year, 296 days to be exact, to help Philadelphia win the NFC East. Brown's teammate on offense, Saquon Barkley, had his best season as a pro after signing with the Eagles in free agency. He became the 9th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a single season, joining an exclusive group. Perhaps his nutrition helped him pull off an insane reverse hurdle in a highlight that went viral and was added to Madden 25 as a move in the video game. Our athletes recognize the impact that MyFitnessPal has on their performance, as demonstrated by how they highly rate our organization's nutrition program through the NFLPA. Eagles executive chef James Searle said, "Players who are interested in a long career understand how big of a role nutrition plays in keeping them strong. Nutrition is key to having energy, stamina, and longevity on the field, and MyFitnessPal is a trusted tool for the entire Eagles organization." MyFitnessPal can be a game changer for anyone. After using the app for a week, it was easy to notice my daily sodium and cholesterol intakes were too high based on my body type. Even though I try to eat healthy on a regular basis, MyFitnessPal has already helped me dial in my fuel intake. This has noticeably boosted my energy level. You don't put regular gas in a Porsche 911. It's not about eating the most healthy foods all the time either. MyFitnessPal can educate what exactly an occasional oatmeal raisin cookie puts into your body. That way, you can make informed decisions when consuming all kinds of food. The app makes tracking what you eat simple, with the ability to scan your meal, plug it in, and keep going while creating your own personal food database. While at the Eagles' home game on Sunday, December 8th, with the MyFitnessPal team, one fan recognized the group and shared his story about losing over 30 pounds in a matter of months using the app. He was excited to connect with MyFitnessPal people, especially because tracking nutrition changed his life for the better and propelled him to reach new fitness goals plus improving his quality of life. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has made it through the concussion protocol, coach Nick Sirianni said Friday, clearing him to play against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. Hurts returned to practice in a limited capacity Wednesday and moved to a full participant Thursday. Sirianni has been pleased with what he has seen out Hurts this week, echoing the sentiments of left tackle Jordan Mailata, who said the quarterback looked sharp in practice. Hurts sustained a concussion in the first quarter against the Washington Commanders on December 22 and sat out the Eagles' final 2 games of the regular season. "You go through a routine every day, and being out of that is challenging," said Hurts. "And obviously dealing with different symptoms ain't fun either. I'm thankful the refs and everyone did what they were supposed to do in the Commanders game. They made the right decision in that moment, to have me tested. I'm thankful and blessed for that, and now I'm ready to go." Hurts said this is the first time he has suffered a concussion. Hurts, who also played late in the season with a broken finger on his non-throwing hand, had 903 passing yards this season with 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He threw only 1 interception after the NFC East champion Eagles returned from their Week 5 bye. Thanks to the tush push, Hurts has 14 rushing touchdowns this season. "We're always careful with him," Sirianni said. "He's our quarterback, so we always want to be careful with him. We always think about his health first and foremost because you never want him not to be on the field. You always want Jalen Hurts on the field. You always feel better when Jalen Hurts is on the field. It's always part of our process and our plan to make sure that when he does carry the football on planned runs that we try to protect him." Wide receiver A.J. Brown, who had 67 catches for 1,079 yards and 7 touchdowns in the regular season, sat out practice Thursday with a knee issue and for rest. Sirianni said he had no concerns that Hurts' production would suffer from the layoff or that he wouldn't easily find an instant connection again with Brown. "They've got a lot of reps together prior to the last couple of weeks," Sirianni said. A lot of reps together, so that's not a concern of mine. I just feel like we're in a good spot going into this game." Brown wasn't the only wide receiver to miss time this week. Devonta Smith sat out of Friday's practice with back tightness. The Eagles, though, still expect him to play against the Packers. "Anytime guys aren't there, in actuality it does mean something," Hurts said. "But ultimately the trust and faith you have in everyone that's here, that always remains." Hurts was 20 of 34 for 278 yards, with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in leading the Eagles to a 34-29 victory over the Packers in the season opener in Brazil. The Eagles quarterback hasn't played since he suffered a concussion and left a December 22 game early against Washington. The 26-year-old Hurts returned to practice this week, a sure sign he was healthy enough to make the postseason start. Hurts missed the final 2 games, where backups Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee led the Eagles to victories, but led the Eagles on a 10-game winning streak before he was injured in a loss to the Commanders. The Eagles were a 4-1 2-point favorite on Monday to beat the Packers and had 7-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, according to BetMGM Sportsbook. On Friday, the Eagles moved to 5-1 2-point favorites to beat Green Bay. There are 5 phases in the concussion protocol, with the final one clearance by an independent neurological consultant. Hurts said he had never suffered a concussion but added, "I feel great now." The Eagles are a legitimate Super Bowl contender with Hurts in the lineup and should have the upper hand against Green Bay when it comes to healthy quarterbacks. Packers QB Jordan Love said this week his elbow, injured in the regular season finale, was still sore, and he felt pain when he did some limited throwing in practice. "It's fun being around the guys. That's really the main thing there," Hurts said. "This team, these guys, are a big part of my routine, just being around them, taking ball. It's been a great week." Hurts, who played late in the season with a broken finger on his non-throwing hand, threw for 2,903 yards this season with 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He threw only one interception after the NFC East champion Eagles returned from their Week 5 bye. Thanks to the tush push, Hurts has 14 rushing touchdowns this season. "We're always careful with him," Sirianni said. "He's our quarterback, so we always want to be careful with him. We always think about his health first and foremost because you never want him not to be on the field. You always want Jalen Hurts on the field." The Eagles seemingly erased minor concerns about the health of their receivers when they were all cleared Friday to play. The Eagles got a needed boost when tight end Dallas Goedert returned from a 4-game absence with a knee injury and was productive in his return in the regular season finale with 4 catches for 55 yards. Wide receivers A.J. Brown, who had 67 catches for 1,079 yards, and Devonta Smith both missed a practice this week for rest and minor injury recovery. Banged up or not, Goedert, Smith, and Brown are going to play against the Packers, 11-6. "Anytime you can have them all on the field at the same time, it's a good thing," Sirianni said. "Those guys are really good players, so we're excited about the opportunity they'll have together." As for the question of rest versus rust late in the season, Sirianni had no concerns that Hurts' production would suffer from the layoff or that he wouldn't easily again find an instant connection with his receivers. "They've got a lot of reps together prior to the last couple of weeks," Sirianni said. A lot of reps together. So that's not a concern of mine. I just feel like we're in a good spot going into this game." Hurts was 20 of 34 for 278 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and led the Eagles to a 34-29 victory over the Packers in the season opener. Hurts is a dual threat for the Eagles, and his ability to run at any time is what has made him such a highly paid $179.3 million guaranteed extension in 2023 and dangerous NFL MVP runner-up in 2022 quarterback. He rushed for 630 yards this season. Hurts, though, was hurt against the Commanders after his head slammed against the ground on one run, and he was hit in the helmet by Frankie Louvu at the end of another. Hurts had given a thumbs up that he was good to go, but officials made him get tested for a concussion. "I'm thankful that the refs and everyone, they did what they were supposed to do in that time," Hurts said. "They made the right decision in that moment. Hey, at least the Eagles have the 9th 2,000-yard single-season rusher in NFL history in the backfield with Saquon Barkley if they really want to run." So who backs up Hurts?